big leagues and over the moon.
Welcome to the Landing Strip with Nick Lynham and Mikey Garcia, presented by From Financial.
Oh, there we go. Try again.
Is this working now? The sound of silence.
All right, let's hit it again.
Welcome back to the landing strip. I was kind of cooking there.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now? Let me know in the chat right away.
There we go.
We don't even know
The chat says
what
it's
we're
working.
doing. We don't know what we're doing in game 46 as the Winnipeg Jets find a way to a 4-game winning streak in convincing fashion against the division rival. Let's get back to the beginning of that rant to start this show off. I'm getting fraud allegations early in the chat about Team Tank. I've been lying to the people. This is 4 straight for your Winnipeg Jets. A convincing game. The old rope-a-dope works on this night. In a first period where the Winnipeg Jets don't get their first shot on goal until they're awarded a 5-on-3, they somehow turn it on. They score on that 5-on-3. Then they score 2 goals in the last 8 seconds of the first to go up 3-0. A great set play. We've talked, there's a few different times. If you're going to use Taves as a defensive center, maybe use him for an offensive chance. Talk about a great set play. Taves to Scheifele to Morrissey. Go up 3-0. Mark Scheifele sees that Braden Point Olympic spot wide open. Puts up a 4-point night. We get multi-point nights from John Taves, Gabe Velarde, and Josh Morrissey. Jonathan Taves, despite how things have gone, and the points are starting to come, might be a bit of a PP merchant. Hits his 900th point with the Winnipeg Jets. It's a pretty cool milestone for the Winnipeg kid. The Stanimal with the highlight reel goal of the year. That might be my favorite goal of the year. We'll get into that. Hellebuck, he's been wearing some goat horns on this show. Keeps the team afloat early. And the Winnipeg Jets have what might be their most convincing win against a quality opponent. Lots to talk about coming out of this one. Mikey, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Only one way to celebrate a big win for your Winnipeg Jets. Let's hit it.
So,
Look,
4 straight. Mikey, what are you thinking?
Look, if you're on Team Tank or if you're on Team, push for a spot still, one thing we can all agree on is that is such a fun thing to jam out to. God, I love that Squirtle sax. So, yeah, that was the way the game started tonight. I definitely was, one of, I'm sure, many, many people sitting there going, here we go again. This is going to be a bad night. Those first 10 minutes, we've seen this script play out a few times where no shots on goal for long stretches, especially to start the game. You thought one was going to go in there early on. And unfortunately for the Tank side of things, Connor Hellebuck decided he was going to be Vezina caliber Connor Hellebuck tonight. He kept them alive during that first 10-minute stretch. And after that, it was an absolute switch flip. Like you said, it was a bit of the rope-a-dope. They lured the Wild in, they tuckered them out, and then just kind of went to town on them from that spot out. So, yeah, statement win. It's nice to get to be big brother on the Wild. Always. That's always fun, no matter what you're looking for in the season. You have to win some games, and if they're going to win a few, I'm glad that it's against the Wild. That's 6 straight now going back in St. Paul. So, loving that.
Yeah, 6 straight in St. Paul. That 8-second span between those 2 goals is the quickest in Minnesota history, home or away, that they allowed 2 goals. Pretty cool little milestone. And that's a division rival, and one that is near the top of it, though they have been struggling. They only have 1 win in their last 6. They're always going to be the little brother. At least we hope so. Anyways, you got to enjoy the fun games like this. And there is a lot of fun to be had if you're a hockey fan in this game. It also shows how much of a roller coaster this sport really can be when you look at just how bad that first stretch of hockey was. And then Matt Boldy turns the tides around in this game with that offensive zone high stick. And this Winnipeg Jets #1 power play unit since Taves went on there seems to have really found something, especially when they're getting pucks to the net and you have 2 guys like Taves and Velarde net front ready to bang things away. It's become quite the weapon for the team of late. But as always, we're starting the show. Who's your anti-tank award winner on this night before we get too much into it?
I'm gonna keep it pretty simple tonight. I'm gonna go with Mark Scheifele, 4 points on the night. He loves to feast on the Wild. So on a night where you would have hoped maybe the top line disappears if you're hoping that the Jets aren't going to be winning too many games going forward. Unfortunately, Scheifele just went out and just piled the points in. So I'm gonna hand it over to 55, who's had a bit of a rough go since not being named to the Olympic squad. We've seen some tough games from him. So nice to see, he's still piling on the points to pad those stats.
Yeah, this was probably the best game we've seen in the last stretch from that top line since Velarde moved off of it.
Yep.
You saw the best version of Scheif in this one. I like that shout out. For the anti-tank award winner, Infinity Comment has it as Wallstead because the Jets absolutely sniped on him tonight. To get Wallstead pulled these days, a nice sign. To have the Minnesota faithful booing their team in the first and second periods, you got to enjoy that. These are the ones you got to still put your feet up and be a fan about. For me, I had a couple different ones as this game developed. If the Jets go on and have that tough start and Minnie goes up early, tank awards going to Scott or Neil. What are we doing going on the road against Minnie and starting the game on our heels by starting the 4th line and 3rd D pairing for them to send out their top guys against? Like, you're just asking for the game to start on your heels.
Yep.
But Hellebuck steady. He's been wearing it lately for the tank commander award. Maybe he gets the anti-tank award winner here. I think you nail it with Scheifele. If you're looking at individual, Josh Morrissey, this last stretch, probably deserves it as well. But I'm going to go Matt Boldy. Your team is out shooting the Jets 11-0. At that point in the game, there was only one real quality shift from the Winnipeg Jets, and it was about 9.5 minutes left in the first. It was a top line. It was Josh Morrissey. And they created some sustained O-zone time. And then the Wild go right out and bring it up the other way. And Matt Boldy takes an offensive zone high stick. He gets careless in a game where Minnesota's controlling the flow of play. Then we go the other way, not getting a shot on net, have a little regroup, and Gabe Velarde draws a trip. And you're giving this top unit a 5-on-3. The game completely shifts when Matt Boldy takes that careless penalty. For me today, the anti-tank commander award is going to be Matt Boldy. I see over on Twitch, Grant Bancroft says my anti-tank award winner is Helly for those first 13 minutes.
Yep.
Hard to disagree there. But I'm awarding it to a guy on the other side of this game. I think you nailed it with Shafe. But that Matt Boldy play, shake my head, man. That is tough. If you're the Wild, I'm pretty upset about that one.
Yeah, 55 may not have the opportunity to score 4 points like that if the tide doesn't turn so heavily after that Boldy just boneheaded decision that leads to the penalty. So, yeah, that's a real good call.
Yeah. Outside of the tank award, though, biggest takeaway from the Winnipeg Jets versus Minnesota Wild for you today, Mikey.
So first hop, real happy to see Elias Salomonson. We have the official pronunciations. That's right. So yeah, Elias Salomonson. There's that O in there. Don't skip that O. It's
I'm
important.
going to have trouble with it.
God, Salomonson, you got this. I believe in you. Real happy to see him get this game in, especially on the second pairing with Dylan Sandberg. I think that's a great spot kind of for him overall if he's going to get a few games in there. Not the best answer from Scott Arniel when Dan Robertson asked him if it's at all possible that Salomonson plays, to a level that he's so good that he forces their hand and has to stay up with the big club. And Scott all but said, no, there is no chance of that happening whatsoever. So,
I missed this.
Dan Robertson asked, he specifically goes, is there any chance that he plays so well that he forces the hand and he would get to stay up after the injuries? And Arniel said, no, we're going to deal with the injuries and the surgeries that we have right now. And then that'll be it. So
yeah, there's a lot of time between now and there.
Lots of time between now, but it's just hilarious that the answer, you would think the easy answer is just yeah, because you don't have to be like beholden to that, right? You can just say, well, it wasn't quite to the level we wanted and send him down. It's real easy to but the fact that it's not even entertained is hilarious to me. But regardless, real happy to see Salo get those games in. I was just a little confused by the lineup, and I know sports is one of those things where when you win, every decision you made was the right decision, and when you lose, every decision you make was the wrong decision. I was just real confused overall by the lineup. You've got Vlad who stays in, but stays in on the wing, even though Barron has been a hell of a lot better on that wing. But Vlad's not good enough to play center on the fourth line, so he's got a ride wing on the other line, and DZ comes out. I was just all confused by it. It was a strange one, especially against a Minnesota team that you would think you'd want to use DZ's speed. But either way, weird lineup overall, but happy to see Salo get in there and play a decent game. He played the second most minutes, 5-on-5, no glaring errors, nothing that stood out negatively. A couple real good plays positively in the defensive zone. So, yeah, that was my big takeaway. Happy to see Salo.
Yeah, second most time at 5-on-5. Talk about a statement. Coach clearly liked what he saw.
Penalty kill time as well.
I was going to say, that was the big indicator for me, seeing him get in on the penalty kill as well. Let's talk about Salo quickly, and then I'll get into some of my bigger takeaways. Let us know what you thought of Elias Salomonson.
There you go.
I probably messed that up.
No, you did. Salomonson, you killed it.
Let us know what you thought about Elias. So, here's what's interesting. It was one of those nights at the rink last game where we didn't talk about it, and I think I beat up on him a lot. But I thought it was really obvious when you looked at how tough a lot of the mistakes Neil Pionk was making last game. I just thought you could tell he was injured. Like, we knew he wasn't practicing fully. It just looked like something went. And I find it interesting. There's always a gap between playing injured and playing hurt. It surprises me that they let him play hurt so much that now he's on week to week. It feels like we straddled that line a little bit.
Yep.
So we're going to see Elias, no matter what here, get a legitimate run. Now, the Olympic break's going to help for some of that healing, but he's going to get this next stretch here. I think I saw the things that make me excited about him as a prospect for the Winnipeg Jets. You see how he reads the game. He's confident enough, even this early in his career, to make those jumps that it seems like young players normally take a bit of time to get comfortable in. A couple big stops at the blue line to turn play up the other way. A couple big pinches that you could see there's no hesitation in his decision making. I didn't think this was a perfect game from Elias Salomonson, but I do see what he can bring to an NHL team, and it genuinely excites me. This is a stretch I want to see where his game continues to go. There's going to be ups and downs, as we should expect, especially playing in a top 4 role with Dylan Sandberg or not. It is still a big jump from the AHL to top 4 NHL minutes. I think he's a player we should get excited about, and I'm excited to see where this goes. There's a player there, and when it comes to, like, I was in a couple of group chats kind of fired up about the DZ thing. For me, when it comes to the difference here, I can't get too fired up, if I'm being honest, and I think everyone knows I like to poke holes and I like to take shots when I can. I can't get that fired up about the Danny Zhilkin healthy scratch, if I'm being honest with you, because at the end of the day, we're talking about a 12-13 forward, and Zhilkin, even at a developed rate, is going to be a bottom 6 forward. It's going to be okay for him to have a night off like that. Tanner Pearson ends up rewarding the coaching staff, who is the guy I would probably pull out for him with a great effort net front to score for the Winnipeg Jets. Fourth line gets on the board. Cole Koepke continues to be strong. I just can't get that fired up about the Danny Zhilkin thing when we know there's going to be forwards at the bottom of this lineup that are traded by the deadline. And I think it's safe to say he's going to be a big part of the last stretch for the Jets. For me, that's just one of those scenarios. He's a bottom 6 forward. He's going to sit out some games. I can't get that fired up about it. Now, if it's like 5 straight, I think that's a different combo. Today, for me, it doesn't bother me, and then they put in an effort like that. Not something I'm overly fired up about.
Yeah, the thing with Danny, it's not that it's, in a vacuum, yeah, it's not a big deal, right? It's a fourth line guy. You swap out fourth line guys all the time. It's one of those weird math things to me where Vlad was clearly not playing well at center on that line for a very long stretch. DZ came in and performed admirably there. Barron was playing exceedingly well on Lowry's wing. And then you disrupt the Lowry-Barron combo to put Vlad there, and it's fine. But it doesn't add anything. It's not, it's not doing anything extra for you. And you take out a guy who, again, regardless of it's a prospect or whatever, it's somebody with, some good speed that would have performed, I think probably just as well in that spot. And it would have let Barron play up on that third line. But again, they won today, so it doesn't really matter in the end. It was just one of those decisions where I looked at the lineup during the skate this morning, and I just scratched my head a little bit. But, like you said, if they're, there's going to be guys that get traded, hopefully, that are going out for assets that are coming in. You want to keep everybody's legs a little bit fresh and moving. So, yeah, if it's a game or two, cool, and, kind of move on from it. If it becomes a stretch and it's, the way they roll it going forward, then I'll still be just a little confused.
And to that fourth line's credit, like, I continue to say I'm a Cole Koepke guy, but that line of Barron, Koepke, Pearson as a trio, and Barron gets that tip on that shot that leads to the Pearson double rebound. You see Koepke get in on the forecheck. To Arneal's credit and the fourth line's credit, they outshoot their minutes 9-5. They win them 1-0 and carried an 83 expected goals percentage. You get that out of your fourth line, you take that all day.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some interesting stuff in the YouTube chat. I don't know how to control that.
I got it.
But continuing to move forward here, I love this. This is becoming one of my favorite trends in the chat, and I just want to shout this out. Shrikan Baya says, missed the first few minutes. What was the excuse from Team Tank again? And every show, the last 4 shows, I got to admire the consistency. I didn't see him during the losing streak. I didn't see him around asking these questions during the 11-game loser. But every win, he is making sure to come and stick it to me. And I'll say this. If you know me and you're listening to the show, and you want to come disagree with a take, the phone lines are always open. I welcome the other side of the coin. I'm always willing to hear out the other side. Anytime you want to call in and have a convo, I'm all for it. I admire the consistency, though.
Yeah, we didn't have any excuses, I don't think, for anything. We gave the Jets their flowers. We talked about how we love beating up on Minnesota, and it was a fun game. And how they survived that, tough start to come back into it. It's the thing about it is we're just kind of here to tell you what we saw during the game and crack a few jokes, and we don't care if the Jets are if they're doing well, great. If they're losing, we're going to tell you that too. It's just kind of the way that it is. And like you said, give us a call. We'll talk about it. It's a good time.
I absolutely love it. I want to shout it out. And the best thing for Team Tank, while we revel in it, with 4 straight wins, and Calgary just getting an empty netter, the Winnipeg Jets, despite winning 4 straight games, will wake up tomorrow in 31st place. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Tank is feeling pretty freaking good right now. I got to be honest. As Ticona says, Nik says, bring it. You know who brought it, though? Let's talk about him. Mark Scheifele. He had his playmaker mitts on. That goal was an absolute snipe. 4 points. I don't know if it was last year or the show before. We were talking about a potential Braden Point replacement. We saw the tea leaves in the national media talking about Wyatt Johnson and Connor Bedard. Do you think Mark Scheifele heard that? And after a 4-point night against the Wild and a game against Toronto in Winnipeg, who you know Mark Scheifele puts up big numbers against.
Yep.
Is there a shot he finds his way there with how his game is translating right now in this moment? We creep towards that break, and he puts up a couple big nights. Is he going to force his way in? We're at the point where I'm having a hard time disagreeing with him when he says, I'm doing everything I can. Where do we fall after a game like that? And with the fact that the Winnipeg Jets play the Toronto Maple Leafs next, and I would expect a nice multi-point game from Mark Scheifele if history is any indication.
You know, you made so many good points there onto why Scheifele should get on there for an injury replacement. But like the Wild starting real strong there, I'm going to have to throw some water on this one, just like the Jets did. No, because if he was going to, the pace he was playing at prior to would have got him on. I think at this point, there are enough people ahead of Scheifele in Team Canada's eyes in terms of fit, in terms of personality, in terms of where to play in the lineup, that I don't think he's going to get on there unless there is some, horrific accident and multiple players get injured right before the tournament happens. I think there's enough time between now and then that, the people they're kind of worried about at the moment have a good enough chance to come back. So unless there is a real big injury right before the tournament starts of like multiple players who can't go, I still don't think he's able to get onto the team now. And I was the guy who was on the Scheifele making the team right from Jump Street. I think the fact that he didn't get named to that initial squad is enough of an indicator. And then we kind of heard afterwards that he really even wasn't on the short list for the last few spots. I think to me is enough of an indicator that they're not interested in Scheifele with the current setup.
So a couple of comments in the chat, and then I have a few thoughts on it. Grant Bancroft says, at this point, I just think the Olympic team management has no interest in Scheifele. How well he plays or not, I don't know. Over on YouTube, Infinity Comment points out Hockey Canada had a post on Insta congratulating Scheif on 500 assists, which is kind of funny. I'm going to go where Jordy and Ethan previously went, but Ethan also points out Italy is big on swearing. T. Conapoli says, Johnson and Bedard are good options, but they'll have other opportunities. Take Scheifele, he's hungry. Sir Ferguson says, but Bennett and Bedard are ahead of 55 in my opinion. So here's what's interesting about all this. So I do think he has a runway here, and just mapping out the games that they play, it is a bit of a soft stretch here. We know how he plays against Toronto. I think he'll put up a number there. And then you got Chicago and St. Louis. I think a big part that'll be missed that Team Canada won't will be that turnover at the blue line where Quinn Hughes gets that breakaway. And then we end up getting a power play because of unsportsmanlike.
Yelling at the bench.
Quite this week. This game had a little bit of everything, man. It was quite interesting.
Yep.
That'll stand out in a moment. But we are in such a short runway, and the Olympics is a short tournament, that I do think the door is open here, especially when you put a statement like a 4-point night against the Minnesota Wild is nothing to sneeze at. And I was texted here in the third period. Didn't get the fact check, but I trust the person that sent it to me. If he doesn't go, he would be the second player in NHL history to be pacing 100 points and not make his Olympic team.
Oh, wow.
Some interesting ways to look at it.
Yeah.
I think the door is squeaking open a little bit.
Yep. It's crazy when you kind of put it into that context. I remember when the team was just about to be announced, and we were still kind of going back and forth on whether it was going to happen. One of the stats that was pointed out at the time, I think it was on TSN, was that Scheifele was the over the last decade was like in the top 10 for Canadian scoring, and in the last 2 years as well. Like he's in there, right? Like he is, in terms of just pure points, absolutely kind of should be there. It's just, yeah, I feel like they don't see a fit in terms of role or personality for some reason.
Hey, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
It's going to be a discussion until it's not. We still have a bit of a stretch here. Speaking of a stretch, the future of the Winnipeg Jets, they absolutely have to sign him. Logan Stanley shows that offensive instinct again. What the hell did you make of the Stanimals goal tonight?
It's a textbook Logan Stanley. That's what it's become now. It's hilarious watching the broadcast comparing him to Zdeno Chara. We knew those things were going to come eventually. It took Chara 10 years. Here we go. So, yeah, it's look, whether you want to see Logan Stanley long-term in a Winnipeg Jets uniform, or you want to see Logan Stanley traded for the most amount of return at the deadline, either way, you love tonight. There's no, like, it's a win-win no matter what, right? Until the thing actually happens, it's Schrodinger's hockey player. It's, good and bad until it actually happens. So it's great that we can all enjoy the ride. Every time he touches the puck now, you just kind of sit it to the edge of your seat. I've gotten pretty good at predicting the Stanley goal games as well now. I've found the pattern a little bit here, I think. So I nailed it again tonight. So, yeah, it's like I said, whether you want to see him here long term or you want to see him traded, it's a good thing.
This is the thing, Ray. We know it's a big climb. Jonathan Taves, PP goals. Logan Stanley, clap bombs. Elias Salmonson getting runway. These are the times, brother. Soak it all in until the team does the stupid thing. What I watched when he scored that goal today, incredible. The stop at the blue line, the instincts to jump in with it, and the clapper top corner. This is the only spot from that angle he's putting it.
Yep.
And then he gives the ref, that's a goal, and he does the sign. Absolute rock star shit. I don't care what anyone says. You have to appreciate that moment in time in this season. We are going to talk about this Stanley year for a decade. It'll be the most memorable thing about all this. Enjoy it until the team gives us reason not to, which might be coming.
Yep.
But that was awesome. And there was another shift when he got out there with the top guys and he was controlling and jumping into the zone. There's clearly an offensive player there. It's going to net us a big return if the team's smart. Enjoy the ride till we get there, because this is unbelievable at this point.
Absolutely. I want to shout out a new listener and watcher over on Facebook, Nathan Craig, who says they are Team Tank, fire sale tank, bolster some picks for the future, begin the rebuild, and let Stanley go. He's in a contract year. He will regress after he gets his big contract. Trade at the deadline for a pick or trade him to a playoff team. Nathan couldn't agree more. Beware the magical season, y'all. Beware the magical season. This is not sustainable. 15% shooting increase. Like, it's ridiculous. Do not buy it in terms of long term. He is still a negative impact overall in terms of the game.
Don't buy it unless you're an opposing GM.
Oh, yeah. No. If you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is your guy. He will save your blue line for the next 5 years. You should trade for him right away before somebody else does.
Bro, there's going to be a first-round pick plus out there. Teams get sucked in for the offense, the size, and having that on the blue line. This is awesome. I'll continue to lean on logic until the team goes against it. This run is pricing them out of what they can reasonably do. Enjoy it. It's going to be okay. They're going to have to.
What was the return for Mark Stone supposed to be again?
Rozovic and Niku and
right.
a first.
Yeah. Great. Nothing. No reason to bring that up whatsoever.
Don't worry. It's coming. You got to believe. I do got to ask you about his partner, though, today. He would have been in the Tank Commander award section. This was a tough one. He wanted to give that game back to the Minnesota Wild in the worst way. That turnover that leads to the goal. There's another one that Helly bails him out with about $1.50 left. And we've talked about those late period goals. Connor Hellebuck deserves credit for making a big save on that Shen bobble with about $1.50 left. And then the Jets go and get two the other way. We've seen that happen a few times now after those time of the games were troublesome for the Jets earlier. I had a funny, got to shout out Ben, sent me a message in a group chat we're in and said, Shen just rescinded his trade request. He found his contender. What do you think?
Look, again, I'm just going to keep agreeing with Luke Shen. We're all frustrated by your minutes. That is, he said it, and, nothing has been more true, I think, of this season than, we're all very frustrated by your minutes, Luke Shen. Yeah, that's
a tough one tonight.
It's been a tough one pretty much every game outside of, I think he had one game against Nashville, in the early part of the season, maybe. It's been a rough go. I can understand wanting to play on a contender because why the fuck would you not? I just don't know who's going to come knocking down the door for the play that Luke Shen has been able to put up over this stretch. I still feel pretty safe in our bet that he's going to be on this roster come the end of the season. I'm just really hoping that how well Salomonson is playing, that the Jets don't go out and do something crazy. By start bringing in other veterans in the offseason to start filling in holes.
Shen spot's exactly where Salmonson's ending this year. Don't worry.
Yeah, hopefully.
Don't worry. One guy, I think he's been a massive piece. Probably their best player this entire 4-game winning streak. And it's one of those things we always expected from him. Josh Morrissey right now. Back to that level where, in my opinion, he's driving the bus as much as he humanly can. This was another night. He leads the Jets in 5-on-5 minutes, wins the shot attempt battle, wins the goal battle 3-1, and crushes the expected goals battle 76 to 24%. Josh Morrissey seems to be, not that he never doesn't elevate, but I think we're seeing another one of those stretches from him where he says, get on my back, boys. I'll be the one to lead the way. What have you seen from Josh Morrissey of late?
Yeah, he's ramping up into his kind of mid-season stride here. The kind of dominant performance we've seen, since the Bones changeover. The Jets are just such a different team when Morrissey is going like that. He covers up so many other issues. He's able to move the puck just at an incredible pace. So it's good to see if you're a Team Canada fan, because you're going to want to see that at the Olympics. It's good to see he's healthy and playing well.
Really excited to see where he plays with in the Olympics too, depending on that Devin Taves situation.
Yep.
I'm pulling for some Makar and Morrissey minutes at some point, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I need to see it.
Makar would benefit from that.
Oh, you know it. You know it. Let's get into the From Financial Faceoff, though. What do you think was the difference in this game? What turned the tides? What went well? What maybe didn't go so well? What stood out to you? Let's dive in to the From Financial Faceoff.
Let's hit it. Right on. Phone lines are going to be open too, everybody. 1-204-800-0409. 1-204-800-0409. Get on the line. Give us a call. Let's hear your From Financial Face-Off and anything else you want to talk about.
Yeah, as usual. Let's start it off. What is your From Financial Face-Off, Mikey?
So for me, this one had a pretty distinct turning point, right? We talked about kind of the penalty that kind of shifted the momentum. But in those first 10 minutes, Connor Hellebuck kept them alive in this game. The start that they had, again, was absolutely brutal. It had everybody and their dog looking at each other going, oh, God, here we go. And if not for Hellebuck keeping them alive during that stretch, I don't think we get to have the opportunity for, things to kind of shift over and the big, wave open up at the other end. So I'm going to give Hellboy my From Financial Face-Off today. And he's just been, he's had a rough go lately, so it's nice to see him back into that form.
And it looks like Cranberry over on YouTube agrees, saying the From Financial Face-Off is Hallie locking in for those first 10 minutes. And with what we've seen with the Jets, I do like going there because we've seen when one goes in, things kind of fall apart. That seemed like a very big key to this win. They hang on just enough to get the special teams going and back in it. And Grant Bancroft says from Financial Faceoff is the special teams. That power play has clearly found something. 2 goals on this night. They don't allow a goal against when they take a penalty while they're shorthanded. And the Stanimal goal comes with him being the PP2 quarterback, and the penalty just expired. I love how this is playing out with the power play 2 stuff. Let him quarterback and let him just fire things. Let's keep this going.
Absolutely.
Tico Napoli's from Financial Faceoff is Helly's start. Wallstead, not so much. One could be the shooting bender the Winnipeg Jets appear to be on. This was another game. 6 goals in 32 shots?
Yep.
The fortunate luck has turned finally. They weren't going to not score goals all year, and they are finally coming in bunches, and they're capable of stringing wins together. That's still good to see. It means the team's not totally in the dumps.
Yep.
Despite finding themselves in 31st place. So got to appreciate that. Turd Ferguson is a man after my heart. It says the From Financial Faceoff is Kyle fucking Tucker and the LA Dodgers ruining my fucking night when I thought it couldn't get worse on Team Tank. If
All
you're
right.
a baseball guy.
Turd, I'm
if you're a
banning
Blue
you
Jays
now
guy-
for bringing this up on the show.
Turd's getting blocked, eh?
God.
I wore my Blue Jays stuff tonight for this reason. Tough night again for the Blue Jays faithful. We're not the bride or the groom again with the big free agent. Kyle Tucker goes to LA. But we will take down the Empire. Don't lose faith. That team has invested. They've given us hope. It always feels better to take down the evil Empire than it does to become it. We're going to be okay, Turd. We're going to be okay.
Yeah, I've just got to find
But
the
I mean-
exhaust port to blow up on that Death Star because this is getting ridiculous.
60 mil for 4 years with opt-outs after year 2 and 3. Good for his agent, man.
Fuck, yeah, no doubt.
Crazy. But my From Financial Faceoff on this night, you tackled the Hellbuck thing. Grant tackled the special teams. I went there with the anti-tank award. I just can't get over the offensive zone penalty from Matt Boldy in the situation the Wild found themselves in. Everything shifts as soon as he takes that penalty and gets careless with his stick. It just stands out so much to me when we know how rocky this Winnipeg Jets team has been. Their coaches admitted it as much. I just look at that play, and for me, that is the From Financial Faceoff difference in this game. I can't get over it.
Yep, absolutely. Like Choice has pointed out earlier, Wild have 1 win in their last 6. It's a tough go right now in Minnesota, and yeah, he made it so much harder on them and completely flipped the script.
And last From Financial Faceoff is Sebastian Hadiak says the From Financial Faceoff is the Jets calling up Salo and giving him a chance with Sandberg.
Yeah.
And those are the type of stories. Whether you're on Team Tank or you want to see this team make a run, them getting big improvements from within, from a guy like Elias, could all play into this positively for the Winnipeg Jets. This is the type of story I'm here to want to evaluate and watch unfold. Very excited about Elias getting called up today.
Like the Stanley thing, both sides get to be happy with Salomonson playing. Oh, great, and we've got a call.
Let's go to the phone lines.
All right, we've got Ethan KPM. Ethan, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the landing strip.
I'm doing very well. What a game! What a game to watch. I know we just wrapped the From Financial, but I got 2 for you.
Let's do
The
it.
first
Okay, let's go.
one dates back to the moment we moved Velarde down to Perfetti's line and elevated Taves to the first power play, because it's just been gravy since then. And honestly, all roads lead back to that in terms of this game and the last couple. And Taves 8 points in 9 games. And then the last From Financial, it's got to be Shane Knighty standing on an apple box when he interviewed Logan Stanley. Like, why you got to put him in his place and be taller than him? We know you're not taller than Logan Stanley, Shane. We know it. But good for him. Good for him. I was saying he's trying to, bring him down a peg, but yeah.
No. Hey, hard to disagree with either of those. I want to have a little Perfetti debate with you, Mikey, in a second.
Yep.
But all roads really do lead back to that. We know this team was struggling getting secondary offense. I don't think it was the Taves Perfetti group's best night, but they have carried the load the last few games to allow this to happen. And then Taves on the power play 1 has re-unlocked the power play, especially working it back down low and then firing pucks through for guys like him and Velarde to get to and bank away. It's been an absolute treat to watch that changeover.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Great show, guys.
Hey, appreciate the call, Ethan. Great to hear from you. We'll talk soon. Okay, interesting for you. This is one of those ones where you see what's in the TV screen and you're quick to blame. I saw some debate on this. I want to talk about this play. Thought this was an interesting one. On the Wild goal, the first one.
Yep.
Off that scramble, they take it to the other side of the ice. Urov finds himself alone backdoor. I saw some frustration again with Cole Perfetti. Let's talk about that play. What did you see from that play?
Yeah, I saw similar things of people starting to blame Perfetti on that one. I thought Perfetti was trying to get back to cover that spot. I don't know who was supposed to be in there, but I thought he was coming back across to get in there, which maybe it looks like he was late. But I honestly don't think that was his guy. I think he was doubling back. At least that's what it looked like when I first watched it through.
Yeah, so, okay. I get why, because when you're watching on TV and you see the still, you're looking at the player right beside the guy. You watch that replay and how it all turns out. Urov is the center on the other side, and that's Taves' guy. And he gets caught, how would you want to put it? Getting pulled to the puck. Like, he gets kind of puck watching there.
He was cheating.
Yeah, he was cheating towards the puck, which allowed Urov to get low, backdoor, and open. And Cole Perfetti sees the breakdown and attempts to get back, but it's too late. That's one of those situations where when the defensive zone fails, where one guy will misread something, things get tough for this Jets team, and we've seen that all year. And I just thought that was a really good example to point out and actually defend Cole Perfetti on, given he's been a bit of a lightning rod, because that was a play, if you watch how it all develops, that's actually him adjusting to what happened, and it was Taves that kind of got sucked into a guy that wasn't his.
Yep.
Just like it was when you look at the other goal, that Shen getting sucked in on a guy that Larry's got mostly handled.
Yep.
Those type of things open up tough scoring opportunities. That's not Vlad Nemesnikov's guy trying to get back to the net front that Shen evades, just like it's not technically Cole Perfetti's guy that John Taves loses track of. And I just thought that this was a good place to go.
Yep, totally agree. I saw it the same way. Let's see if the mayor of Transcona sees it that way. I've got the mayor of Transcona, Ticona Pauly, on the line. Ticona.
What's going on, Ticona?
Gentlemen, I think the tank's still alive pretty good.
Yeah, we're in a good spot, buddy.
I didn't, this game 6-1, Wild came out there. They had that quick start. They were dominating. But then once the Boldy and Foligno took those penalties and the Jets kind of bang, bang, bang there, the 3 goals,
Yeah.
I didn't see much out of the Wild, like, for pushback or anything. Like, I don't know why the Wild didn't make that game chippy and get a little dirty and get a little, like, a little, like I guess they wanted to stay out of the box, but, like, they didn't, like, there was, for a divisional game, there wasn't a lot of angst in it. There was no pushing. There was no, so what I'm getting at is I don't know how invested in the game the Wild really were.
That's an interesting point because we've seen these two teams really go to war. And I was actually kind of expecting it when the Jets started to run up the score a little bit and the game was clearly out of reach. It's an interesting takeaway, Ticona Pauly. What do you read into that outside of just maybe the Wild weren't too interested? Like, I guess you're right. There is just no pushback.
Well, that's what I'm reading into it. They weren't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. Like, I don't know. They lost a few in a row there. Maybe I'm not going to say they lost their mojo there, but maybe something's going on. And I don't think they were that invested in that game. And Like, yeah, the Jets ran it up and took away the win. But I don't know. I think it's still, I take away that it still shines bright on the tank. It's still alive.
Hey, as you know, any type of good angle that keeps this tank rolling, I'm all in on. I was starting to wonder tonight if I have to send that helmet back to Amazon. So, Ticona, if you could keep me even keel.
Oh, no,
Go for it.
You can just get a little cloth and polish that commander helmet up there, and you'll be fine.
Hey, sounds good, Ticona. Great to hear from you, buddy. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
You too, dude. Bye.
Bye. Mikey, coming out of that call, what is top of mind for you?
Well, I actually can tell you what was wrong with the Minnesota Wild tonight. I did some investigating during the call there. It turns out that Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell was in attendance, so there was nothing but a loss on the books. That just had to happen. So that makes sense. I actually understand now.
There's the football rivalry in you, eh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. Those cheeseheads had a tough weekend, brother.
I don't know. We're talking about hockey right now. So, the Minnesota Wild suck. I totally agree. No, they're at a rough night. They're in a bit of a rough stretch right now. Generally, the games get chippy between the two of these teams when there's something to play for, when there are, positioning on the line, those type of things. It may have just been that, they're going through a rough time right now. They didn't crack the Jets in that first 10 minutes. And then you start having things unravel and you just go, well, fuck it. This isn't our night. We're not going to, go to war with a 31st place team that is nowhere near us in the standings. We'll take it easy the rest of the night and come back for the next one. I could see that being the case.
Hey, I'll buy anything right now. And to give Cranberry the good news, who says we are 1 point above the Flames for 30th place. That is no longer true. We're actually 1 point behind them, as they beat the Chicago Blackhawks after the show started tonight. So we're still good.
We're doing okay.
And you got to wonder about it. Mike Friesen points out there's a lot of crazy shit going on in Minneapolis right now, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a community situation.
100%. Hard to focus on a game when all these things are going on in your life. Yep.
100%. 100%. Hey, we'll find any narrative we need because the next 3 games might make this team tank a little interesting. More on that, though. I want to talk about Alex Iafallo a little bit. We were talking last show. Since Velarde bumped down, there's been a bit of a tick down on the first line. We've been crediting Gabe Velarde. I thought this was Alex Iafallo's best, most seamless fitting night with that group. I thought he kept it really simple. He was in those lanes. Scheifele and Connor like to keep things safer. There's not a whole lot of risk in their passing. And I thought Iafallo did a good job supporting those guys. I thought he made a great play on the assist. What do we think of AI tonight?
Yeah, easily his best game on that top line. We've talked about how he's a bit of a chameleon, right? He can play on your fourth line, your third line, your top line. He kind of bounces around wherever they need, a spot. He's the new Mathieu Perreault in that aspect. So, and he reminds me a lot of Velarde, right? There are a lot of things they do kind of similarly, even if Velarde does it a little bit better. So the fact that he's gelling on that line isn't a shock. And yeah, it's going to take time, right? We expect these guys when they get plopped onto into a new situation, onto a new line, to kind of take it right away. Sometimes it takes a little while for it to kind of get all back together, get the timing and everything right. So, and like you said, Scheifele and Connor like to play it a little bit safer with the passing. So yeah, I think he can work fine on that line. It's just whether or not you think that line can be good enough to be a true first line on a contending team, if that's the route that you're going down. But to play out the rest of this season and hopefully still end up with a nice pick to bring in a high end player, I think he's a fine to kind of ride shotgun there.
No, I like that pro comparison too, because when we even talked about this, he would be one of those guys, unless the team blew me away, you still want to keep around from the ability to have quality players still around, so that you don't end up in Buffalo's situation. And it's kind of funny because I heard as Buffalo was trying to work their way out of things, that was a guy they really wanted around. Clearly a well-respected player, a dogged player, And I just want to point him out tonight because I thought this was one of his better nights of late, especially playing with those two.
Totally agree. And Cranberry, he's actually from just outside of Buffalo, New York. He's from northern New York there.
Yeah. Let's go to Choices TK, who adds a point to build off of T. Konopali's theory. And again, I'm all for hearing this kind of stuff right now because we all know what I prefer out of this season. Choices TK points out, teams are just not getting up to play the Jets. Islanders beat Oilers 1-0. Sorokin was on. They're getting teams in prime spots. Also, the last four have been against teams that have found their struggle spot. I think part of that's true. And I do think, though, too, when you lose 13 straight games that are decided by one goal, which was what had happened in one-goal games, at some point, you're going to start getting the luck on your side. And I do think we've seen the Jets really take advantage of finally getting the bounces that they weren't getting previously. We'll see where it all goes here.
Yeah. How many times during that 11-game winless streak did you look at it and go, man, they can't catch a break? It's just those things balance out over time, and you're getting to see the fruits of that right now. The big question is, does it swing so heavily in the opposite direction that they do end up going on some crazy high point run that pulls them out of the lottery? Or does it just kind of sit back to where it is and, we end up in this kind of bottom three spot? It's going to be real interesting to see, right? The Jets, I don't think, are nearly as good as what the management group was thinking they were going to be coming into the year. I don't think they're nearly as bad as losing 11 games straight. The truth is somewhere in the middle. Right before we came on, I said to you, this was kind of like what I expected the Jets to be before the season started, right? They're probably going to win a few games that you're going to look at and go, oh, that was not their best effort at first, or, they're going to have that real sleepy start and then come back and win. That's kind of what I was expecting this year to look like. And then the fact that they bottomed out so hard right away kind of reset things. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes. The one thing I will say, the play lately, the winning streak lately, these 4 games, and hey, I get only 26 more to make the playoffs. I'm still keeping the counter going. That's 4 down, 26 more from that 30 wins Kevin Sawyer said we were going to get. The one thing I will say is the fact that they are winning some games right now, that they are getting the bounces, that it's looking good to the point of, they're scoring 5 goals a game over these games essentially. I'm hoping that will ease the trigger finger in management to do something rash and trying to add to, quote, save the season. Hopefully they can still notice that this is not going to be the year to add, that this is still the year to move things out, to still bring in assets, to still bring in picks, and that if the Jets are winning a few games, that relieves some of that pressure on them to have to try to make a, quote, big trade, a big thing to save the season. So that's where I'm hoping that they thread the needle just enough that this is going to ease the tension a little bit to do that.
Ooh, I don't know.
I'm hoping.
I don't know. And we got from LeBrun, while there might be people on the outside of the building that have written the Jets off. That's me. I'm one of those people. I will continue to be one of those people. Says, no one inside the building has written themselves off. The race is inviting. There's lots of mediocrity in front of them. And what do you hear when you hear that quote?
So I'm of two minds, right? On the one hand, that's what you have to say, right? That's what, if you're keeping kayfabe, that is what you have to say. You have to say, we believe in it. We still think that we can go on a run. Teams have done it before. We believe in our guys, because you don't want to be throwing your group under the bus. I can understand if that's your argument for it. The issue is, I think for a lot of fans, it's just not honest. It's just not realistic. Math just doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? It's not even a believe in this group type of situation. They've had enough of a bad start to the point where teams mathematically don't make it in from this spot anymore. That's just the way that it generally goes. And I think people know that, and they don't like being told one thing when the opposite is the very obvious and kind of evident truth. So yeah, it's frustrating, but I get it. But I wish we once, just one time, would have somebody come out and say, hey, look, this has not gone to plan. It has not gone the way that we've wanted it to and we thought it was going to. We're actually going to evaluate everything, and we're going to try to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Fucking, I'd be so into that. I think so many people would be into that. But instead, we're just always going to get the, we believe in it, we still think, da-da-da-da-da. I hope that that's more public speaking kayfabe than actually how they're going to approach the deadline. Like I said, for me, the big tell is going to be when we get closer to that deadline, are there any talk of the Jets listening on bad contracts to take picks and things in? If we still make it through this deadline season and that's not a rumor or a conversation or something that's come up, then I know that they don't get it. They don't know where they're at with this whole situation, and we're probably going to get more of the same.
Hey, stick with the math, buddy. Let the math guide you. There's 12 games before the deadline. For them to even realistically make this a conversation where you look to pivot, you're looking at what, 9 wins in that span? 9 and 3?
You need more, I think. I think you need 10. I honestly do.
Stick with the math, brother. We're in a heater. We're riding high in the shooting. The math will win. The math will win. It's a hard league to climb. Common sense will prevail. They're trying to signal belief. And the funny thing is about that quote, you know what I hear from it? That you're chasing mediocrity.
Yep.
There's a bunch of mediocrity in front of them. What does that mean that you're going to be involved in?
Right.
Mediocrity.
It means you're behind a bunch of mediocrity, which is even worse.
Correct. Don't worry. It's a big ask. We're still in the driver's seat here. Our boy Mo, though, goes there. We got to ask. He says every goal Big Stan scores adds another mil to his contract. What do you think that deal is pacing to be right now?
Here comes the money. Money. Dollar. He's getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
It's last year Neil Pionk. It's the exact same thing that's going on. It's contract year Neil. Now we've got contract year Logan. He is piling on. He's at an all-time heater that is not sustainable, that has not been anything close to what he's done in his entire career up to this point. But he's padding that contract with every goal, every big moment, every TSN package that he gets. It's breaking that price up. I just, unfortunately, unlike last year, I don't think he's going to be the one chasing to the UFA market. I was wrong last year. Hopefully I'm wrong again this time. I thought Pionk was going to, take himself to market and get that big deal somewhere else. I unfortunately still see Kevin Cheveldayoff signing Stanley to that, 5x5-ish type of contract.
5x5, and that's the number, eh?
Yeah, I think that is the number, honestly, and parading it as the win. As we look how much he's improved, look at the time everybody that's come out and says something on TV about him now says the same thing. They've put 10 years into him. They can't just move on, and he's repaying them. He's repaying them now. Look, you can't just, what would that say to him if you moved him out just as he's repaying all that hard work? And so to me, it absolutely smells like he's going to be the big win after a lost season, to go out and say, here's this young guy that we drafted, developed, signed, and now he's a superstar, a league name.
You know what's funny about all of this and the narrative about we put 10 years in? They sure didn't value Nick Ehlers after 10 years.
Yep.
But that being said, a few things on that. I heard this week he's the future of the team, and how could I ever disagree with a 28-year-old third-pairing D-man riding a 16% shot percentage, being the future of the Winnipeg Jets. I'm just going to read out the definition of sunk cost fallacy, because a 5 times 5 will be the most obvious future buyout for a GM that's bought out, 4 contracts now?
Yep.
The sunk cost fallacy is a cognitive bias that leads individuals to continue investing in a decision based on the cumulative prior investment, time, money, or effort, rather than on future benefits. There has never been a clear example of it. We should learn from science. We should learn from our mistakes of the past. This is the one. You just can't go there.
Yeah.
You just can't.
It's the gambler's fallacy. For everybody who's sat at the VLTs or at the blackjack table saying, well, you know what, I've put this much money in, I just have to keep going because I got to win it back. I've got to win it back. I've put so much in, I got to win it back. You don't win it back. That's the problem. And
Speaking of,
you're never going to win it back with Logan Stanley either.
speaking of gambler's fallacy, I have two more ways of looking from poker terms at the Winnipeg Jets. If they were to try and get back in this and actually buy, which I still think we're a long ways away here, if we're keeping our head on our shoulders here, them buying would be like going all in with a 7 deuce in a poker tournament this year. Like, even if you get in, Colorado's beating this team in 4 or 5 games. And I have a new way of looking at the Winnipeg Jets committing to this in the summer. I'm going to say it's this way. Because I got into a couple of conversations like that today. Because people are like, you have Connor Hellebuck, Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey, Mark Scheifele. How could you possibly potentially rebuild? In those guys, you have a Jack 10, and you're going all in because you see a face card as the chip stack starts dwindling. It's not wise. It's not wise. And the other thing I do find ironic about this combo is how often we as hockey fans gave the Toronto Maple Leafs shit for betting on a core 4, and we're betting on a worse 4. Some things to think about as these conversations progress. Let's get into the 3 stars and the Tankathon sim on this night, where the Winnipeg Jets win a fun one, 6-2, over a division rival. Let's go out of here with the 3 stars on this night and a good old tank sim.
Let's hit it. Right
Mikey,
on.
who's your 3 stars on this night?
All right. So for my 3 stars tonight, at number 3, man between the pipes, Connor Hellebuck. They don't get a chance to go out and squash the Wild without Hellebuck in that first 10 minutes. Number 2, number 44, Josh Morrissey. He's just on another one right now. He's an absolute force on the blue line, and reminding everybody that he still should be in that conversation of he's the best defenseman in the Central. And number 1 star, we've mentioned him all game. He was on fire tonight. Number 55, Mark Scheifele, 4 points. Beating up on the little brother is always fun. So give it to number 55.
Yeah, I'm going to go the big 3 of the Winnipeg Jets on this night. We will go number 3 star, Connor Hellebuck. Number 2, I think he's been the big driver. Josh Morrissey continues to be Josh Morrissey. And what a compliment that is when you look at the upside in his game. And Mark Scheifele, 4-point night, continues to try and make that push. Let's go in to the Tankathon sim on this night and see if we can get a win to end the night on a night that's been tough for Jays fans, for Team Tank. Maybe we can win a fake simulation.
All right, let's hit it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, no. We dropped to 4. We dropped to 4th. So
what a terrible night, brother.
Calgary gets at number 1. The New York Rangers at number 2. The Vancouver Canucks at 3. And your Winnipeg Jets at 4. At 4, who are you drafting, Nick Lynham?
Who's going in the first 3 spots?
Stenberg is gone. McKenna is gone. Verhoff is gone.
Oh, so easy. The Jets might actually win in that scenario.
Who are they taking?
Tynan Lawrence.
There
Give
you
me
go.
the future 1C
There you go.
of the Winnipeg Jets. I'm already wondering about him in the top 3.
Yep.
I'll take that result. I want to give a shout out. Thank you, Brett U45 says that show was a beauty, sufficient and articulate. Well done, boys. We appreciate the support. I saw Tico Napoli had suggested, and maybe we'll get it going after my surgery when things get settled, potentially doing another in-person event at Dallas. If you weren't around last year, towards the end of the year against the Dallas Stars, we hosted a live event at Dallas, and went really well. About 55 people came out to watch the Winnipeg Jets versus Dallas Stars game. Got to meet a lot of you. So Tico Napoli, we'll be in touch. We'll talk about that. I'd love to do it. Appreciate, since giving out the email address, getting a lot of fun emails, including I want to shout out Chase for tuning in. Found a Tank Commander sweater with a Jets logo and a tank on it. So we'll be repping that on losing nights. coming soon. And we'll end it with this. As the regulars know, and the regulars watching know, you know I love flying high